My greetings to you all, learners. Here in this video, we'll discuss a detailed summary of the greatest play, A Doll's House, written by Henrik Ibsen. Really, A Doll's House was first performed in December of 1879. Actually, it was met with both incredible success and immediate criticism for its, at that time, highly controversial views on marriage and family. The play follows Nora Helmer, a middle class housewife, as she confronts the consequences of an illegal loan she took out in order to save her husband Travell's life. As she navigates Victorian gender roles and dismantles the illusions that plague her marriage, she realizes that she is no longer content to be anyone's doll wife. Whereas critics claimed a doll's house threatened to dismantle traditional Victorian values, fans found it realistic, complex depictions of individuals and families relatable, inspiring, and refreshing. Now, when the play opens in Act 1, it opens in Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House, opens with Nora Helmer arriving home from a Christmas shopping trip. Her husband Rawald greets her and playfully scolds her for spending so much money. Nora argues that since Torvald was recently promoted at work, the Helmers have more financial leeway than they had in previous years. As they talk, the doorbell rings. The Helmers' maid Helen informs them that two guests have arrived, Dr. Rank and Christine Lindy. Dr. Rank, a close family friend who is terminally ill, and much to Nora's shock, her old school friend Christine Lindy has also come now. After the guests are admitted, Dr. Rank and Torvald meet in Torvald's study, while Nora and Mrs. Lindy remain in the sitting room. Nora pityingly remarks that Mrs. Lindy is now a childless widow and apologizes for not staying in touch with her after marrying Torvald. Mrs. Lindy explains that she has lived a hard life since her husband died and feels lost with no one to care for Mrs. Lindy. And she hopes Nora might convince her husband Rawald to give her a job at the bank that he now manages, which Nora agrees to do. Nora then recounts the woes of her own first year of marriage, wherein Rawald fell ill from overwork. To restore his health, the Helmers had to take an expensive trip to Italy. At first, Nora claims that her wealthy father gave them the money. After Mrs. Linde insinuates that Nora does not understand true suffering, Nora reveals that she acquired the money by taking out a loan, something she should not have legally been able to do. When a low level bank employer named Krogstad arrives requesting to see Trovald, both Nora and Mrs. Linde react uneasily. Dr. Rank, who joins Mrs. Linde and Nora in order to give Trovald and Krogstad privacy, calls Krogstad morally sick. After Trovald and Krogstad's meeting ends, Trovald, Dr. Rank, and Mrs. Linde depart the Helmer's house, leaving Nora to play with her children. Krogstad soon arrives to speak with Nora privately, revealing that he is the source of her loan. He reveals that he knows Nora illegally forged her father's signature on the bond. Trovald intends to fire Krogstad from the bank. So Krogstad uses the proof of Nora's forgery to blackmail her into advocating for him. So when Torvald returns home, Nora attempts to convince him to keep Krogstad unemployed at the bank. Torvald, scolds her for advocating for Krogstad and reveals that The original crime that ruined Krogstad's reputation was forgery. Torvald further insinuates that the people who lie and keep secrets corrupt their families. Actually, this opinion disturbs Nora very much. So, this is how Act 1 ends. Now, over to Act 2. As Act 2 opens, Nora nervously paces the living room. Her maid, Anne Mary, arrives with the dress that Nora will be wearing to a party the next night. As Nora and Anne Mary converse, Nora reveals that she has been avoiding seeing her children. She also laments that they would probably forget about her if she left for good. Mrs. Lindsay arrives to help Nora amend her dress for the party. She interrogates Nora about her relationship with Dr. Rank, implying that Nora may have received the money from him. Nora denies the accusation but seems intrigued by the idea. Their conversation is interrupted by Torvald's arrival. Nora once again attempts to convince Torvald not to fire Krogstad. She tells him that she is worried that Krogstad will write slanderous articles about the Helmers. Torvald reassures her that he will handle any fallout, which only distresses Nora further. She vows not to allow Torvald to take the fall for her actions. And soon Dr. Rank arrives and informs Nora that he will die soon. He asks Nora not to tell Torvald because Torvald does not handle these kinds of ugly things well. As they talk, Nora asks Dr. Rank if he would do her a favor. He agrees and adds that he would do anything for her because he is in love with her. Unsettled by his remarks, Nora scolds Dr. Frank and refuses to tell him what favor she had planned to ask him for. Their conversation is interrupted by the arrival of a visitor. Knowing that it is Krogstad, Nora asks Dr. Rank to keep Torvald occupied, claiming that she does not want her husband to see her in her finished dress. Krogstad reveals that he has received his dismissal letter. He tells Nora that he does not intend to publicly expose her forgery. Instead, he plans to blackmail Torvald into giving him a promotion at the bank to mend his reputation. Nora threatens to end her own life to spare Torvald the scandal. But Krogstad tells her that it will not change anything. Torvald is still socially accountable for her actions. As she leaves, Krogstad drops a letter explaining Nora's actions into the Helmer's letterbox. After Krogstad leaves, Nora frantically reveals everything to Mrs. Linde. Mrs. Linde is very much shocked now and she informs Nora that she and Krogstad used to be romantically involved. About their past love and all, she is just sharing with Mrs. Helmer for the first time. Mrs. Linde promises to try to convince Krogstad to take his letter back. In the meantime, Nora attempts to prevent Torvald from reading the letter. She asks him to help her to rehearse the dance she is set to perform at the party the next night. Torvald intelligently agrees. Mrs. Linde returns with the news that Krogstad has left the town and will not return until the following night. Mrs. Linde left the letter for him and plans to speak with him when he returns. An increasingly desperate Nora redoubles her efforts to distract Torvald from the letters. So there, Act 2 ends and Act 3 begins on the following evening. The Helmers are attending a party and Mrs. Linde is waiting at the Helmers' home for Krogstad. When Krogstad arrives, he is initially hostile towards Mrs. Linde, accusing her for abandoning him for a richer man. Mrs. Linde tells him that she did what she had to do in order to provide, security for her family. After revealing their mutually unhappy circumstances, they both reconcile and agree to marry. So Krogstad remorsefully agrees to take his letter back, but Mrs. Linde stops him. She believes that it is important for Nora to be honest with Torvald. Krogstad then departs after agreeing to send a second letter clarifying that he no longer intends to use Nora's forgery against the Helmers. Shortly afterwards, Nora and Torvald return from the party. Mrs. Linde greets them and tells a dejected Nora that Krogstad has not taken the letter back. Mrs. Linde then departs, and Dr. Rank arrives. Using coded metaphors, he tells Nora that his disease has progressed to a fatal point and that he plans to lock himself away in order to die. Nora tells him to sleep well and asks him to wish the same for her. After Dr. Rank leaves, Torvald checks the letter box. The first letter is Dr. Rank's death notice. Torvald is very much saddened to hear about his friend's impending death and he retires to his study to read the other letters. Nora hurriedly prepares to leave the house, intending to end her own life because you know what would be the content of the letter which was written by Krogstad. So before she can leave, Torvald confronts her about Krogstad's letter. Rather than behaving in a chivalrous fashion, Nora imagined he would. Torvald furiously berates her. He threatens to bar her from seeing even her children because he believes that she would corrupt them. Furthermore, rather than risk the damage to the reputation, he plans to go along with Krogstad's demands. Nora grows increasingly cold as Torvald reprimands her. She realizes that he is not the man she thought she thought was. Torvald's diatribe is interrupted by the arrival of Krogstad's second letter. The second letter contains Nora's bond and a promise from Krogstad that the Helmers have nothing to fear from him now. Torvald is overjoyed and he immediately claims to have forgiven Nora for everything. However, after seeing Torvald's reaction to the first letter, Nora decides to leave him forever. She accuses both Torvald and her father in infantilizing her or treating her like a doll rather than a rational human being. The Torvald attempts to convince her to say that by citing the social, moral, or religious repercussions of her leaving. Nora insists that she must become independent and learn to think for herself. She insists that the laws prohibiting women from taking out loans are unjust, and she points out that Torvald would have died had she not taken him to Italy. Despite Torvald's begging, Nora leaves him and her children. The final stage direction depicts Nora shutting the door behind her and she leaves. That's the end of it. Thank you. Hope you have enjoyed.